And thank you for joining Applaud today for our Centerity webinar. The purpose of this webinar is to get you acquainted with the business services management and IT monitoring platform that's been making a real impression on the experts over at Gartner and Enterprise Management Associate and winning multiple awards since 2006. The latest being a Gartner Cool Vendors in 2014. The reason why we can give you this webinar is because Applaud is the exclusive distributor of Centerity in the ANZ region, and we're very excited to be providing such a market-leading solution. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Applaud, we are a leading IT services and technology provider to medium and enterprise corporates with offices in Sydney, Brisbane, and Melbourne. We specialize in virtualization, private cloud enablement, and various full managed services, including monitoring, of course. So what does it take for Centerity to call these fellow high-profile world brands such as Coca-Cola, Hertz Rental Car, IKEA, UPS, Cisco, and many more in that caliber loyal customers? Why they choose Centerity over any other monitoring solutions in the market? This is a central question that Brett Mckissock, Applaud's Professional Services Operations Manager, who's also the subject matter expert here internally at Applaud, will attempt to answer today. The agenda today is quite simple. Brett will take you through the background and unique functions of Centerity and the progress of Centerity as it reveals its latest version 3.5 to work with some of the biggest tech vendor platforms of the world such as SAP HANA, Cisco, Citrix, OpenStack, and Hadoop. And finally, what business or IT pain points does Centerity help solve or eliminate? And a brief demo for you to see Centerity in action as well. We're expected to finish by about 11:30 or so. We will endeavor to provide you with a simple but high-level briefing of this powerful tool you could use in your environment. If you have any questions during or after the webinar, please feel free to enter in the chat option of the webinar to the right of the screen. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Brett Mckissock to start the webinar. Brett?
Thank you, Amy. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for attending this morning. Again, my name is Brett Mckissock, and in this presentation, I'm going to try and differentiate Centerity from other monitoring solutions out there. I'm going to do this by illustrating how we as Applaud, how we monitor, and I'm fully aware of critical business services. Before I begin, I'd like to give a brief introduction of who Centerity is. They're a company that offers an enterprise-class information systems and IT monitoring solution. They're based in Israel, and they have a head office in Boston, Massachusetts. As Amy mentioned, Applaud is the exclusive APAC distributor of the product, and we have a very strong alliance with the Centerity team, and we use this product in-house. It's taken our support staff from a managed services offering from being a reactive environment to one of being proactive and more efficient in supporting our clients. Centerity stands apart from other players in the field in cost, speed to production deployment, and feature sets right out of the box. Within a few days of deployment, Centerity will reduce the TCO by up to 8%, followed by a fast return on investment with dramatically better cost performance. So, as Amy mentioned, there's a couple of big international companies that do use Centerity, and these are a number of the companies that are currently embracing part of the tool, both internationally and here in Australia. So how do we establish a relationship with IT and the effective running and the costs to the business that is associated? Centerity does this by presenting a high-level business process in the form of a business service module. Business service module is basically a very high-level CTO kind of visual representation of a business service. So email being a business service, and these dials, as you can see, as an example on the screen here. As you can click into each one, you get a breakdown of that business service and how everything that underpins that that offering, and gives you a very high level of how things are performing. So there are many parts to an IT environment. The problem with IT is that you need to make sense of it, and ideally in an IT monitoring environment, you'd like to have a single pane of glass that does everything for you. So Centerity does the job for us. The traditional way of monitoring in an IT environment is to basically monitor everything, every system, every check, every service, and leave it up to the engineer to make sense of what it all means and what a service on a sort of obscure server relates to a business offering, or a service like an email or CRM or any in-house applications. So Centerity's approach We want every single component as well. The distinguishing factor that sets it apart is the ability for Centerity to establish that relationship. You need that relationship between checks and a corresponding business service like email, Citrix, CRM, SQL, backend, to basically give you that high from the top to the bottom. These are all the parts of the chain that make up that service. You can track an entire environment at every layer in real time with system health views and live statuses of key business services. So Centerity does that with a business service management module. It's the integrated service-oriented management strategy where users are given a holistic view of all the systems and the services and relationships that make up that offering. Traditional VSM systems, due to product complexity, integration and maintenance costs, made the achievement of the true VSM impractical for the vast majority of IT organizations. Until now, Centerity has made the price point really attractive and available to its run out the box. It's not an add-on. Most of the big monitoring tools and companies that do it out there, they do offer it. They do, but the price point is going to be somewhat prohibitive for most of the organizations out there. So Centerity has designed an all-encompassing enterprise-class platform capable of capturing performance metrics of all the layers of the monitoring stack, from the physical, the networking layer, up to the application layer. And this is another very nifty little add-on that Centerity can incorporate into the tool. It's the user experience. The user experience is you're going to simulate a user out there in the field and be able to report back metrics on that user experience, doing a task that a normal user would do. It gives the organization a comprehensive view of IT availability, performance and status. It gives you that holistic monitoring view of complete environments on VMware, Hyper-V, and also SaaS as a service. It's a true enterprise VSM at an affordable price. It's a clear view of at a managerial level. Substantial reductions in integrations, deployment, and maintenance and training costs. It's a unified platform, reduces the number of technology components needed and the number of vendors required. The benefits that you get increased uptime. It's very fast to deploy. It's highly scalable, flexible, and adaptable. What else? The auto discovery. Centerity can actually go in and monitor and discover VMware, Hyper-V. We can do discoveries right from at the host level and establish what devices and what services are running on that environment. Okay, so tracking the entire environment from top to bottom with real-time health views and live statuses gives you on key business processes with drill-down capabilities. Centerity Monitor gathers information from Cisco, UCS Central Software, which aggregates data from multiple Cisco UCS Manager instances. So it's becomes a manager of manager. It's also continuously correlated with SAP HANA KPIs, application KPIs, operating system performance KPIs, network status, storage status, to give you that complete executive business view. Centerity also incorporated scheduling of SLA compliance reporting and proactive alerting through the entire SAP business environment, including SAP HANA, SAP R3, and other applications. It also supports tailored executive and operator dashboards. Here's one of the business service views we spoke about earlier. So at a very high level, you'd be able to click on a service in this example. The service group is big data. It's a service offering. And underneath that big data service, you can see all these parts that make up the network, storage, UCS, operating system, and the SAP components. Customizable, you can actually give each component a different weighting, so it will affect your overall service availability for the product that you're offering to the company. Very nice and nifty feature is the scheduled reporting. You can schedule reports out of the tool, monthly, daily. We'll go through a little example of a report a little bit later in the demonstration. Technical cooperation between SAP Co-Innovation Labs in Israel and Centerity has brought a holistic BSM monitoring capability to the entire SAP environment. Centerity Monitor is the first predictive BSM module for SAP Labs. Centerity was chosen for its integration of several other vendors due to the fact that Centerity is able to establish already out-the-box monitoring capabilities to the SAP systems. Centerity was challenged by the SAP to demonstrate the rapid implementation capabilities of its BSM solution within the existing service environment of SAP at the Co-Innovation Labs. Centerity excelled at that, and SAP were very impressed with that return on investment and the time to fruition to actually have that system up and running, reporting on system availability. So a couple of out-the-box checks available for SAP if you have an SAP in your environment. This would make sense to a technical ops person who would have an SAP environment. You can also incorporate maps and photos can be incorporated into the tool. All the maps and photos are clickable, so you take a photo of a service rack or a network rack or even a floor layout of the building. You can overlay checks, real-time checks onto that map. We've found this very useful with some of our clients where some hospital environment where mostly on site you have a limited access to IT resources. So quite often you may have to visible remotely. Very useful if you can actually bring up a picture of the cabinet that the user is looking at, and you can say, second device from the top, are the lights on or off. You can actually see what they see. So it's quite a useful little tool that you can actually incorporate into Centerity. Clickable and real time. With the BSM, you'll be able to see exactly what's broken and have that drill down capability. You can see where the break is in that chain offering that solution. Centerity uses flexible data to capture techniques. It's agentless. We can use syslog, telnet, WMI, SMP, SSH, and many others. But Centerity also do it via the agent, which is the recommended, the preferred method. There are 40 agents for operating systems, different types of OSs out there. Using the agent dramatically reduces the network load, consuming much less bandwidth, about 1 to 2 KB per query. Centerity can act as a manager of managers. It can upload data and maintain that holistic view of your environment via the Centerity platform. Centerity can also integrate with third-party products and ticketing systems for the service desk in a bi-directional fashion. So if you have an in-house ticket system, you can incorporate that into Centerity, and you can actually have a tab on the screen which actually incorporates it in real time. We spoke briefly about the end user experience. It's a real-time synthetic simulator robot that actually simulates what a user would do in an environment. So you create the robot to do tasks, send an email, open a spreadsheet, write some data, save it, open a shared file on a shared share, save some data in there, and log into in-house systems, go to Google, search for your website, basically get some metrics back and give you a baseline of how systems perform. I find it very useful when users call up and say, my in-house system is really slow today. It's really hard to quantify and really slow compared to what? Yesterday, day before, baking a loaf of bread. So to get those numbers that you need to have some kind of baseline where you can actually quantify, you say, okay, normal process takes 2 seconds, today it's taking 6 seconds. That's a significant drop in performance and the user experience. So you have that baseline. The robot's just a standalone workstation that sits in the environment and just goes through the tasks at a predefined schedule and reports back, and I'll show you in the demo site actually user experience reporting. There's no code involved with the user experience. It's very easy. It's I had a recent client did information presentation recently, and he had quite a good analogy. He's actually referred it to like Lego. You just add parts, add blocks, and click go, and tell it what you want it to do. Go to this page, click here, search this, log in with that. Yeah, so it's quite a cool analogy. It's like Lego, you can kind of put it together. No big house, no big skills involved needed. It's pretty easy to work it out and do it in-house if you were to expand on it at a later date. Advanced reporting, you can get reports out of the system, scheduled monthly, daily, or you can run reports ad hoc as well. You can use Centerity Dynamic Threshold Manager for the highest productivity. You can actually get some data back that's meaningful for you. There's so many tools that are used by IT support for different reasons. Wouldn't it be great to have all of these in a single pane of glass? The tool set that is flexible and adaptable to business needs has many features only previously available to the big ticket solutions. It's fast and easy to deploy. We're talking days, not weeks, to have a system up and running and reporting for you. It's sensibly laid out and easy to learn, giving you that the IT world's that fast return on investment. So I'd like to go ahead and bring up a demo of the system for you. Just bring that out. Okay, so this is the demo site of Centerity. This is the demo site running currently out of Israel, so the link may be a bit slow, so forgive us for that. But here we have the dashboard in the Centerity environment. So there are a couple of flavors of Centerity. This is a Node, the non-enterprise edition. So this will be a smaller instance where this is the actual part of the system that does the checking. We can also report back into an enterprise console, which becomes a manager of managers, and you can actually have multiple of these nodes like this one, reporting back to a single central dashboard. So here on the home screen, you can see a quick snapshot of how our environment is looking. Service and status views, we can actually see service availability. We can incorporate switches, photos, maps, etc., as I mentioned earlier. And this is the VSM. So any VSM that's not performing at 100% will actually show up in this quadrant right here. So if I just click onto that VSM, it will take you to the VSM page, and you can actually see the breakdown of that Cisco component stack at the moment and where it's actually broken. So you can actually have that drill down capability reporting back on that service. And you can, it's really plug and play, just drag and drop kind of thing, adding devices and services to a VSM. Quite a few companies have actually put this up on like an intranet or a local NOC big screen in the office, and you can right off the bat you can see how your systems are performing. So we can see mail services. We can do a drill down on a VSM, and we can see what parts make up that mail services. And you can see the user experience. So we had a look at send mail. So that task takes 1.8 seconds to open a mail client on the robot. Type it in to from subject to text, click send. And so you can report back on how that's performing. So the user calls up and says, it's not taking 6 seconds. You can say, well, historically it's less than 2, so we've got a problem. The VSM, you can now have that drill down capability. You can actually go and see what services are not running, or where you need to direct your resources to get that system back up and running. Okay. We can actually go service views. We can actually go reporting. This, as I mentioned, we can actually schedule reports. We can run ad hoc reports. So if we're just going to run an ad hoc report, we can just go to summary. We want to just find, let's do last week, top alert producers, hosts and services, and generate. Take a second to pop up. There you go, right now you can see it's been in the last week, there's been these devices that have gone up in error. Okay. Quite an easy, neat little feature. Easy, very useful for month-end reporting, getting reports out to the clients. We incorporate all these tools and report settings in there. Adding a device, as I mentioned, we can do WMI, SNP. We can also do discovery via an agent, where you just install a really small agent install, runs as a service on your device. As mentioned, there's over 40 different flavors of agent you can install from different OSs. Should you choose not to go the agent route, you can do WMI or SNP checks and discovery. So here's an example. We're just going to do an agent discovery, and you can see what we find. You can search by IP address, start a fringe range. You can do a subnet and tell it where you want it to find it. You can do a network discovery, or SNP WMI, so you point to the ESX host or the vCenter virtual center. You can actually push credentials, and it will go and scan and interrogate that device and give you a list back of what's there. So on a device, once you found it, if you were to add, say, an ESX host, you have a predefined set of checks that you could ahead of time have defined. So services or things that you want to check. So rather than once you discover the device, you go through and add all the checks. You can just apply a profile, and the profile would actually discuss it and put all these checks that you have defined against that particular type of service or device. So we'll just do a quick check on this, and I'll show you how you can actually go ahead and do a test or a test of a device and see if it's actually there. Yeah, so it responded. Okay. So, real good. Centerity is also single sign-on integrated. You can actually integrate it into your Active Directory, give you that extra level of security that you'd have users, and you can actually customize the dashboard and what the user can or can't do and see in the environment. There are a couple of, unfortunately, Java has broken on my machine, but there's a clickable hypermap which would pop up in a Java kind of plugin, which is fully clickable. No, Java's broken again. But it's fully clickable, so you'd be able to click on the map and actually drill straight into a device that's broken. We can go into statuses. We can, as I mentioned, we can have maps. So we can have map views and dashboard. We can actually incorporate those maps and diagrams and layouts of comms cabinets, switches that you can incorporate into the tool and have live clickable. So this is actually reporting a live check on the server on those ports. See just a demo. If we can actually go and see, click on the link and it'll take you straight to the device and that port. Let's try this one. That's actually, yeah, it's very useful, very helpful. You can have graphing. You can actually go and see historical data on the device and see how things have been performing historically. So it's really still linking to Israel. They're looking at everything. Still transferring. There we go. Okay, so we can actually see, we can get a historical data on the interface, and we can actually go back and see real time what it's doing. Cool. So I think we've had just a quick reach your appetite of what Centerity can do for you. We'd definitely love to have a chat with everybody to get a proof of concept set up and running. The price point is really competitive out there. It's definitely way less than the big ticket platforms. So it's an all-in-one platform. You have a central dashboard, you have a report center. That single pane of glass graphs. I mentioned the hypermap, and there's one with jobs not broken. You can actually see that it's clickable. You can drag it around. You get that root cause analysis where you can actually go down right to whatever's broken. It's a consistent GUI. It's across all modules. All the bells and whistles are ready to go out of the box. There's models that are out there with bolt-on prices outside of the standard model. Centerity give everything, and the time to value is very short. Centerity offers Centerity in 3 flavors. We have a full managed service. We offer software as a service. We also offer an on-premise installation where if you were not to have the Centerity monitor node hosted in our cloud, checking back into the environment, you can actually have an on-premise. And some of the bigger clients we've installed have gone with that route. They've gone with nodes and an enterprise console. There's a number of factors that you will obviously go either way. But yeah, give us a call. We'd love to do a proof of concept and an implementation test for you. You can contact us at the details on the screen. Without anything else, I'd like to hand you back to Amy, and thanks very much for your time.
Great. Thank you so much, Brett. I hope everybody got something out of that session. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. I'll send out the complimentary BSM white paper. I look forward to catching up with everybody soon. Thanks, everyone. Cheers. Bye.